Well, first they started socializing with him in the club, and they told him that they were investors and that they had a way to make 20% return on the dollar. That's a lot of money. And in fact, they did. What they thought, they could make 20% return on the dollar. There was a company that was being started in India, cable phone lines in India, and they had been in contact with an investor there. Danny was very savvy on the internet, and he was very savvy in investments. He had made contact with a man that lived in Massachusetts, and the man had come down, met with Danny, and told him, I need this many millions of dollars for you to get in on this deal, but I'm telling you, you're going to make 20% return on your money. It's a risky deal, but if it goes, you're going to be more than a millionaire. Danny wanted that deal. He did not have that kind of money. He wanted his nest egg where he had it in IBM stock, and he wanted someone else's money to gamble on the Indian investment. He wanted Frank's money for that, but he sold it as he and Frank would be partners in that. That's why Frank went to talk to him that night in a business meeting at a steak restaurant. They went, they spoke about it, they agreed to meet again, and it was the second time that they were meeting again was when they decided they would kidnap him. They had intended to go to the steak restaurant, eat, and then invite them back to one of their apartments, Doorball's apartment. That was going to be a place where they had the animal tranquilizer ready. They would shoot him with the animal tranquilizer. They would incapacitate them, and then ultimately move them in the darkness of night to a warehouse where they would do the same as they did with Schiller, torture them, have him give up all of his assets, tell him where everything was. See, they didn't have an inside person with Frank. They didn't know where his assets were. They just knew he was rich. So they needed him to be awake. They needed him to tell all of those things. They also needed Christina, because if Frank was missing, Christina was going to go to the police. They thought that nobody would care about Frank, some Hungarian guy in the prostitution business, they thought, and that wasn't what it was at all. And Frank was well respected in his community. His best friend lived down the street from him, and he had business contacts all over. If he would have been missing, people would have been looking, and they would have called the police because his friends were law-abiding.